Breathing. I'm going to talk about breathing today. And why is it so important? Obviously, besides the fact that it keeps us alive, but structurally, specifically for the body, why is it so important? I know that we hear a lot of people talk about breathing, but why actually is it so important? Now, to give you the basic understanding, I'm sorry my drawings are not necessarily the best. That way is front. We're looking at a side angle of a drawing of a person, very rudimentary drawing. The basic concepts of our breathing, we have a muscle called the diaphragm that essentially spans through the bottom part of our rib cage. Now, when we breathe out, our diaphragm contracts and moves up, and essentially, in that contraction, our thoracic portion of our body actually squeezes, and then essentially air is pushed out of our lungs. Now, on the flip side, when our diaphragm drops down, air is drawn in. And when this drops down, it actually creates more volume for the lungs to be able to pull more oxygen in. Now, to the degree of which this diaphragm moves, our stomach will either move in when this is contracted up, or opposite, pushed out when this diaphragm comes down. Now, the reason why this actually is such a very important aspect in our structure. Now, a lot of people, we could call this, it could be a psychosomatic aspect, so it could be from the brain kind of controlling the muscles, but some people have a very contracted or restricted breathing. And in very basic terms, this diaphragm is sucked up into the rib cage. What that actually does is it starts to yank or almost cinch down on this bottom part of the ribs, causing the sternum, or the front part of the chest, to drop. You can imagine, if this is dropped, we're going to have a very funny looking, and this is very, again, rudimentary, shaped body. Because we're working with gravity, you can imagine that to keep us upright, our body is going to have to adapt in order to keep us upright with gravity. So what typically happens is somebody's pelvis will tilt exaggeratively. The low back will get totally crunched up in this lower back portion area. There's an apex leading, almost stretching the muscles to the limit on the back here. A lot of times people will get their forward head posture, is what chiropractors end up calling it, which then also leads to a really gunked up neck. And you can just see that that's just very much not a structurally sound structure. Almost a hunchback of Notre Dame is happening there. Simultaneously, we have a muscle that corresponds and connects with this diaphragm here called the iliopsoas, or psoas for short. Connects here, runs through, really runs in front of the pelvis and down to the lesser trochanter of the femur. Now, when this is contracted up, the diaphragm is contracted up, to a degree, the psoas is also getting yanked up, contributing to this pelvic tilt. For more information, go on to tensegritypllc.com. We can get you scheduled and start to help you out. Thanks.